Yo, guys, this is not Jake here with a live tutorial because editing in OpenShot sucks. Going to go over a friend in need today. One of the more punishing jobs you can find in episode 6. There's a lot of time to lose here, but very satisfying to pull this job off well. Starting from the end of a Spice in Sky, you'll do Spice in the Sky first, and you'll try to land on this last train. While this animation is playing of you blowing up the train, I like to try to hold upright to try to stay on the train. It's not perfect. It kind of depends on when you land on the train. There's also some strats where you can purposely try to go in the water, and then you'll be brought back to your last grounded position on the train. But doesn't matter too much because we need to make our way to a chimney on this roof over here to start fake floor to skip the first cutscene. So I got a ledge grab here, and I was in a position where I could get back on it, allowing me to do this pretty fast square boost. Set my grounded position on the chimney spire point. You need to be careful that you don't break it or guards don't break it. And even if sometimes you do that, sometimes it'll just be broken when you get here. So I recommend being familiar with the other chimneys in the area. I can't really exactly show it, but there's the Spice in the Sky chimney over here, which you can also use as your second backup. And if that one's also broken, there's a third one on the other side of this building that we're going on here. So again, square boost down, set our grounded position, double jump, turn back, and now you're going to paraglide until the chimney turns invisible as part of traditional fake floor setup. Once you see that, drop into the water, and we're going to make our way up the railroad tracks towards the chimney. Stealth slide square boost off the tree for the fans. Tiny optimization. I don't even know if it's worth it, but it's cool. Now, we're going to have ground collision up until around kind of this bend in the train track here around the bottle. So that's where I'm going to start stealth slide square boosting. If you're not comfortable with that, you can always just double jump paraglide. Works perfectly fine. But running up, I did it a little bit early in this example. And if you're stealth slide square boosting, I'm pretty sure if you get a frame 1 stealth slide square boost, you won't be able to control the direction of it. You'll be forced to keep going the direction you're going, which is what I think happened to me there when I got pushed out closer to the edge, but we managed to get away with it. Come towards the job trigger. Make sure you hit square in the air to trigger the job trigger. Slide will fall. The job will fail. Press circle to continue. Now, lure strat 1 happens immediately. It comes very fast, but it's very easy. All you're going to do is spam stealth slide, press square in the air to get to the ground as soon as possible, and get detected by this flashlight guard as quick as possible. Then you're going to want to drag Carmelita here. Carmelita has a few key checkpoints, I'll say, that she has to hit. You cannot use lure strats to bring her all the way to the end where Murray is, as she will need to return to these key checkpoints no matter how close she is to Murray. So the first one is kind of right when we get into town. So we're going to lead Carmelita this way. If you're lucky, while you're leading her, she will shoot this moose, but it's kind of hard to do every time. Didn't get it here. It's not a huge deal. And one thing that will take some getting used to is walking the path you need to go while looking backwards, because you want to prevent guards from spawning in town, as we're going to need a very specific GSM in order to get the second lure strat coming up. So also, again, keeping in mind not to get too far away from Carm. I get kind of a little far away from her there, but for the most part, it turned out fine. She kept chasing. And as Carm kind of gets to like this area here, that like she kind of like gets to under the railroad tracks and even just a little bit past that, that's when I like to run ahead into the town area here, where you will lose her. Sometimes Carmelita will be weird and she won't drop aggro at that point. So I recommend dropping down to the lower level, kind of at the bottom of the screen here, and just kind of hiding. Eventually she'll lose you, and Carmelita will walk very slowly, but it's very important that you keep your camera pointed down like this to prevent guards from spawning in. And we're waiting for Carm here, not too much going on. She's about to hit the first key checkpoint, so you saw her light there. That's her jumping down onto kind of like the tarmac here, I guess you would call it. And she's going to do a spin back there. I don't show it in this example. I'm a little too far away. But that is the first key checkpoint that I know of. She has to spin there for the job to progress. So I'm just waiting, buying time. The camera, while you're kind of walking like this, will want to try to fix itself. So I'm kind of holding down left on the right stick in order to hold the camera. But it's no big deal. She's moving, and we're almost ready for Lure Strat 2. She'll spin again. Another thing that we need to happen. And then, as you can see, after I see her spin and then I listen for her to jump down, she's going to jump to this lower level. I walk back a little bit and place my camera kind of like this in a way that the right side of it is showing this lower path. Just try to copy this. There's two outcomes you can get here. I'll show the other one in a second, but this is the slightly harder outcome, I guess I would call it, but it's not too bad. So we'll watch this outcome out first. Wait for Carm to go out and about. I dropped down there really unnecessarily early. That was pretty risky, but you can wait an extra second there. It doesn't matter much. But Carmelita is about to hit another key checkpoint before we can do a big lure strat, which is when she spins next to the safe house. So while I'm waiting for her to do that, I'm going to use triangle dives to lure this guard into a better position that we're ready for the lure strat. So I'm bringing him over and over and over, and yeah, this is a good spot here. As soon as I see her start to spin, I bring the guard out, or I get detected by it, and then I back up. I back up here because there is a very unfortunate scenario that can happen that I'll show in a second, where if you don't get this guard like far enough away, Carmelita will like drop down and just like instantly like no scope it, and she won't be lured. Like it'll fail. She won't have aggro, and she'll just continue slowly walking, which is, you know, seems kind of random. But by dragging the guard out far, I don't think I've ever had it fail me like this. So try to copy this. You can see, try to interrupt the guard's melee attack. Swung too late because I suck. But yeah, again, now that Carm's lured, we want to make sure we don't get too far away. If you get too far away, she will drop you. But again, this kind of backwards movement here is a little weird. And Carmelita's AI here can be a little weird. Like she'll sometimes go around the trees and stuff and awkward paths. But we've led her up to here, which is the end of Lure Strat 2. We can't bring her up any farther as she has to... I think there's a spin there, or I don't know, but there's a checkpoint there. We can't, we have to let her do this movement across the ice cubes. And as soon as I see her jump into the lake, that's kind of my cue to hook onto the cane and then make my movement up here. I failed this job once for getting too far away from her at this point, so just a visual cue I wait for. Come up here, kill any small guards in the area so Carm doesn't have to waste time shooting them. Break the barrels to just get some money and got a healther, which was lucky, but we're still at half HP, which means we will die to a Carmelita shot as they do 50% of your health. But yeah, there you go. And that's the end of the auto scroller, which is by far, well, probably the scariest part. There's still a lot of time that can be lost on the second part for deaths, but I'm going to really quickly show you the example I was talking about, as Beaver fortunately was able to find a video of one of his lure attempt 2. This happens to everyone. It's not, I think nowadays I kind of understand it, and with my triangle spamming, you can get the guard into a better position, but you can see Beaver didn't even like, he's not even like that like close to Carm or anything, but still Carm misses the first shot even and shoots him, and then just doesn't care about Sly. So I don't know why. I don't know why that happens sometimes, but that's why I do those triangle spams to bring the guard out farther. Seems to work for me every time. And one thing I'll mention here is that if you don't get this lure strat, you can see Beaver does here, is to check this roof here. As if there's a small guard here, you can fight the small guard and lure using that as well, which is kind of the hundo strat. But typically, when you're doing the GSM properly that I showed for the first part, there won't be a small guard on this roof, unfortunately. He'll be on the roof to the right of here. But yeah, that's that example. And one other thing we're doing, do the tutorials live. I'll just quickly show the other scenario I was talking about. So you'll notice on the other one, the guard spawned very close to this kind of lower area, which is, I described as kind of more tricky because you got to bait them farther away to prevent, lure strat failures. But with this GSM here, I'm not exactly sure what I did even differently. I guess I stayed closer to kind of like this bridge area. I didn't back up as much. And I was able to get the guard to spawn back here, which is even friendlier because it's much less unlikely to, get that situation where Carmelita won't chase you. But with this situation, you do have to be careful that this guard can despawn sometimes. So try to keep a close eye on him, stay close to him. You don't really have to watch what Carmelita's doing too much. You can, I would spend your more time focusing on this guy rather than on Carm, because you know what Carm's doing, but this guy could disappear if you stare at like other locations and the game decides, all right, he's looking over here, let's spawn 2 flashlight guards in this location now, or something like that, So, but the guy was further back here, so I don't have to do any triangle spamming or anything, but I'm still waiting for Carmelita to spin. As soon as I see the spin, go over and get in a fight with the guard. You don't really have to rush it, as you have to wait for Carmelita to jump down anyways, and interrupt his attacks. I still take a melee attack there. You could probably do that a bit smarter. And both these examples, small guards show up, which is not a common thing that happens, but yeah, it happened to me twice. So, yeah, you can see even, I got a little lost. I did not lure her in a very well done way here. Ended up way too far to the right there if you're looking up the hill, but left with the camera angle I have. But again, waiting for Carm, blah, 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 blah. Jumps down over, and it's movie time. Again, we'll see there's no small guard here this time, which is fine. And yeah, I'm going to switch back to the other one just to watch the final part here, as I don't remember how the guards, the pickpocketing section went in that one. So skipping ahead in the movie here, a lot of this is unimportant, but there is one thing I want to mention in the Sly portion of the cutscene skip. One thing that I'm looking for is that after this, you are going to go pickpocket Carm 3 times for 3 keys to free Murray, and her first spawn is always like down the hill that she just like walked up. So what I'm looking for here is how a guard spawns with this exact camera shot. This camera shot shows sometimes a small guard behind you, and it's honestly best case scenario to see a small guard, because that means you don't have to worry about the small guard being close to Carm. When you don't see a small guard here, now I have to be cautious of where that small guard's going to be, because there's going to be one 99% of the time. This scenario, you can see he spawned in a pretty good way still. Like, he's up the hill, far away from Carm. So I just go immediately for the direct route, stealth slide square boost off this ledge here, make my way towards Carm, yada, yada, yada. Take that key, thank you very much. I will check the other video at the end of this just to see if there's a different example, but look at some different runs, because a lot of times if you don't see a guard in this shot right here, they will spawn facing the other way and walk into Carmelita, which is extremely spooky, as when Carm gets into a battle with a small guard, she'll kind of freak out, turn around, and it's very likely that you'll get caught before you can take her key. So in that situation, I will run further along the train tracks here, and then just like double jump to a super safe position, double jump paraglide to like a super safe position behind her. Make sure you can get that key safely without being detected, because it's a big time loss to get detected by Carm. But again, good spawn here, despite it being a little spooky for the movie. Take the key. As soon as you see this blue screen, Carmelita will automatically chase you for 26 seconds, no matter how far away you are or how well you hide. So we have some time to kill. I'm going to run back up to the electrical box, as is the tactic for any percent, but I'm going to try to kill any small guards in my way. The goats are pretty easy to kill. I think they're 4 hits. They could be 3 hits, while the fucking ducks, these geese, are absolute war tanks. Impossible. They take like 6 hits, I think, to kill. They're insanely strong. They might even be more than 6. I can't remember. So I'm using square triangles to try to get this guy in the electrical outlet here, which works perfectly. Again, I'm at half health, so I'm at risk of dying, and I was able to kill him before Carmelita gets up here. And you're going to quickly glitch high jump up on top of the box that Murray's in. Now, the nice thing about this box is that while Carmelita is chasing you or right up against the box, she can't hit you. But one thing to note is that while you're on this box and she's still like closing the distance, she's still running, her shots can hit you. So you can see when I got on the box, I kind of did a double jump or two, which is typically the strat to avoid bullets. You can see I almost jumped into a bullet there, which would have been a bit tragic, but maybe it's a good idea to have your camera facing towards Carm at this part. But once you're up here, I turn the camera backwards so I can GSM, prevent any further small guards from coming, ruining the party again. But we're still waiting for that 26-second timer to run out. And she's, as she stops chasing you, she does this little animation where she like shakes her fist. Curse you, Cooper. And one visual cue that I've been trying out recently is I wait for her to do a little karate chop. Like, you see that like final chop at the end? Like, she shakes her fist for a little bit and then she goes for the chop. That's when I have been trying to jump down. Missed the key because I suck anyways, but get the key and we're back up onto the box. Gonna wait for 26 seconds. I'm kind of spazzing around, hanging out, nothing really going on, waiting 26 seconds, skip ahead a little bit. Shout out to Gandyman. As you can see, if you're doing episode run only strats, you can use a smoke bomb at 21 seconds to lose Carmelita 5 seconds earlier, but that is not currently in the any percent route, so that's why I'm waiting. I'm practicing for any percent, even though it is an episode run. Waiting. She should be losing me soon. I feel like I get really close to hitting her. Wait for the chop. Yeah, I kind of got pushed off the box there. I should have jumped farther right, but I got lucky. And now we have the third key. Now, the safe strat that I don't have a video for is to just get back up on top of the box again and wait for her to chill out and then jump down and press circle on Murray. But when you do it that way, you're losing like a second or two as you wait for Sly to like jump down. So the kind of riskier, but really not that risky if you do it a little bit strat, is to instead lure Carmelita away from the box. But the scariest thing here is you have to avoid 2 shots. The first one's pretty easy to avoid. The second one was very close to hitting me. You could probably what would probably be smarter would be to avoid the first shot and then instantly start a glitch high jump and like paraglide down. But it's kind of a habit to just keep running and then square boost. But we're just gonna come up here like by this platform on the railroad tracks to wait. The train's here, it's no biggie. But all we're waiting for is Carmelita to jump off this bridge to the lower section. And if there's any small guards, you want them to jump down too. You can see there's a small guard because if small guards are still up in this area and detect you as you go back up, Carmelita won't lose you and you'll be stuck in combat, which really sucks. So wait for everyone who was up there to jump down, and then as they jump down, you can paraglide back, climb back up. You don't really have to wait for anything. If I don't see a small guard jump down, sometimes I'll wait on the hook just like a little bit, like one extra back and forth swing, as it I feel like decreases my chances of being detected by a new small guard up here. But just come over by Murray, spam circle, and wait for the cutscene to end, or wait for the 26 seconds of Carmelita chasing you to end, and you'll be in the perfect position to end the job, giving yourself the best split possible. But yeah, that's it for this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. If there's any future tutorials you would like to see, feel free to ask in the comments. As always, you can find me in the Lads Discord or just the Sly Speedrunning Discord. And yeah, thank you guys so much.